As you can see, today the condos along the waterfront serve as a reminder of the re-envisioning of the waterfront, going from a historic industrial space to a comprehensive community with housing, recreation, amenities all in the same place. Many urban post-industrial waterfronts have capitalized on the growing public interest in public amenities, or green spaces, and cultural venues on the waterfront. As waterfront residential developments succeeded both here and in other places, many people have started to think waterfront land is too valuable for industry. Now for the history of the Pacific Coast terminals. Prior to the development of these communities, New Westminster's largest port terminal, Pacific Coast Terminals, was right here, where the Quayside Drive community now resides, to where the Kruger paper plant begins. Built in 1929, the port could fit as many as 8 ocean liners lined up along the port, being unloaded and loaded with imported goods and exported goods. Our New Westminster port provided the same service as Deltaport Container Terminals does in Tsawwassen. Commodities were shipped to the waterfront by train or barge, and then loaded from train to steamship. This is the reason you will see such a major train yard adjacent to the condo development here. In New Westminster, we had 2 terminals, Pacific Coast Terminals and Overseas Transport. There, they shipped the products of Canada all over the globe. Now, in these areas, there were skilled workers of those terminals. Until the widespread adoption of the shipping containers in the 60s, there was a specific set of skilled workers who manually transferred cargo from land to sea and vice versa. They were known as longshoremen, what is now known as longshore workers. These workers hand-stowed the cargo inside the holds of the ship. Through the 1960s, these workers moved 112-pound lead bars, 60-pound zinc bars, 120-pound sacks of fertilizer and flour, apples, mandarin oranges, asbestos, creosote ties, animal hides, and much more. More than anything, longshore workers in New Westminster loaded lumber of all shapes and sizes, from 40 feet long to 8 feet long. There are many photos of longshore workers in the archives at Anvil Center. If you'd like to learn more about the people who worked along New Westminster's waterfront and hear their experiences, please visit Reclaiming New Westminster Waterfront. The link is in the write-up for this tour. Here, you can listen to interviews, read more about the history, find more walking tours, and find other resources about the working waterfront. Unfortunately, there was an end of Pacific Coast Terminals. Interestingly, by the 1970s, Pacific Coast Terminals was obsolete. Why? An increased globalized shipping industry meant larger ships and near universal use of shipping containers to move manufactured goods. The terminals in New Westminster were simply too small to accommodate shipping containers. Fraser Surrey Docks, just across the river there, opened as an expansion of New Westminster Terminals in 1964. Containers are still handled at Fraser Surrey Docks, but their main focus is bulk cargo. Bulk cargo is a commodity cargo transported, unpacked in large quantities. This material is usually in a liquid or granular form such as crude oil, grain, coal, or gravel. Deltaport, which opened in 1997, is the busiest container terminal in Western Canada.